People often ask me, what the heck is VA home loan payment shock? And why is it important when you're getting a VA home loan? Now, the definition of payment shock when the new payment is significantly higher than your old payment, whether it's your mortgage payment or a rent payment. Oftentimes, this comes up in manual underwriting where we have to do a manual underwriter review, but it can come up in automated underwriting as well. Typically, the lower the credit score, the more the lender will look at payment shock. The other thing to know is VA actually has no particular guidance. There's no like hard and set rule. It, like a lot of things, the VA home loan, it's use your best judgment. And luckily there is a lot of different rules about that. There is some consistency, but again, it's one of those things where lender overlays apply. It will, like I said, it will get examined a lot more closely on a lower credit score file. And so let's talk a little about lender overlays. So a lender overlay is a rule over and above what the VA requires on the home loan. And the reason that's important is because, one lender might be like, oh my gosh, this payment shock is a big, big deal. And the other lender might look at the file and say, oh yeah, whatever, it's not a big deal. And it's because they look at what's called compensating factors. So compensating factor is what's going on today with the credit. So a few compensating factors to think about is there a huge pay raise coming up? So for example, I'll give a quick story. There was a situation where the guy had a payment of only $300 a month. So his wife had bought this house on a land contract. They'd owned the house for several years. The payment was only $300 a month, and he was buying a new area. And his new payment, he was trying to buy a $450,000 house, and so his payment was several thousand, over $3,000 a month. So it was going from 300 to over 3,000 with taxes, insurance, and all that kind of stuff. So that's a huge payment shock. But there was a compensating factor. The compensating factor is that he got a new job, and the new job paid a lot more than the old job. So again, the VA doesn't have a particular guideline that says that it's a big deal. But certain lenders said, well, you know what? We're not very comfortable with the situation. But I found a lender that said, oh yeah, with this new job, he's got enough money to pay it. The ratios look good. Credit looked good. He had some issues, but they were old, so they didn't really care about that. And the cash flow looked good, so it made sense. The other thing that lenders will look at a lot is if expenses change significantly after buying the new house. So, for example, I know someone that bought a house that had a lot of equity in it, and when they sold it, they had a lot of cash in the bank, and so they were able to pay down some bills. So even though the payment on the new house was higher because they paid off some bills from selling the old house, that their actual total debt was actually less. So even though the mortgage went up, that payment shock went down, their overall debt went down. The other one where this comes into play is if maybe there's commuting expenses, maybe they had a second home and they were trying to do a long distance commute, maybe there's a hotel involved, things like that, and wear and tear on the car, and maybe they had childcare before and now they're on childcare, like that type of thing. So yeah, it's something that can help with payment shock as well. The other one that's huge is there really should be some positive cash flow making up for that payment shock difference. If I look at a bank statement and the person is very much a month-to-month type person, and they end up every month with $50 left in their checking account type of people, it is what it is. But the thing is, if you're trying to buy a house that's significantly more than what you've got now, I need to see where's that money going to come from. If you're going to make the same amount of money and you're spending, people typically spend about the same amount on food and rent and all that kind of stuff. So, if the new payment overall, if we're adding $500 or $600 or $700 to that total payment, but yeah, your car payment's the same, utilities are going to be more. Actually, your kids' payments are going to be the same. Where's that money coming from? And a lot of people don't think about this, and this actually protects you as well because we want you to be successful in that house. We don't want you to just buy this house and then have a foreclosure. That's not good for you. Certainly not good for the lender. So one of the things we will often request when there's a payment shock situation, especially someone with lower credit scores, is do a financial planner consult to get us a plan of action. We love those. And the good news is that these financial planners, because they're on commission, oftentimes want to sell you life insurance and stuff, I know a lot of these financial planners that'll do budgeting for free, which is nice. You just go in there, do your consult, and then they will help you determine, oh yeah, maybe I don't need that Netflix subscription. I don't need five, different streaming service on every channel. I don't need to do the Starbucks every day or whatever it is, or we don't need to eat out quite as much. And they can be like, you know what? If you cut here, 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 and here, you'll save that $500. And of course, they'll also try to upsell you on, you really should set up an IRA. And oh yeah, you should get that life. And those are good things. That's not necessarily a bad thing. That's actually a very good thing if you start setting those things up. So I hope that you learned a little bit about the payment shock. I have a ton of other videos about VA loans and all kind of other things. So be sure to check the comments below to see some of the other videos I have on different VA related topics. As always, if you have any questions about VA home loans or mortgages in general, feel free to give me a call. My number is 937-572-3713. Also reach at scarpair.com. Thanks. Bye.